Robert Swan, the famous environmentalist and explorer, once said something that fascinates me. The greatest danger to our planet is a belief that someone else will save it. And I love that quote because it captures the biggest trap of our time. The idea that change is someone else's job. Companies, politicians, experts, anyone but us. But what if that's wrong? What if the world isn't waiting for someone else, but for you? I want to ask you a simple question. How many of you believe that students can change the world? Please raise your hand. I see a lot of hands. That's good, but let's be honest. Sometimes it's really hard to believe it. The climate crisis feels overwhelming. Heat waves, floods, wildfires. It's everywhere in the news, and it's terrifying. And politics, don't get me even started. Leaders promise change while negotiations drag on for years, while the clock is ticking. And then there's that little voice in your head who says, I'm just a young person. I don't have money, power, or a title. What can I do? Or even worse. Sometimes people around you say, be realistic. You can't change the system. You're too young. You're too naive. But you know what? For me, those two words, be realistic, are the deadliest words in the English language. Because they kill hope, they kill imagination, and they kill ambition. Because today I'm here to tell you one thing. You don't need anyone's permission to change the world. And you're not alone in this. A recent study published in The Lancet found that 8 out of 10 young people are worried about the climate. That means that almost everyone in our generation understands the urgency of this problem, just like you. But worrying, that's not enough. Worrying alone won't solve a thing. And here's the tricky part. You have two kinds of dangerous philosophies. You have the optimist who says, relax. It will all work out. The problem will fix itself. And then you have the pessimist who says, it's too late anyway. Why bother? Why should we act? And both are useless. We don't need either. What we need is hope through action. Hope that moves us, that pushes us, and that makes us do something, even if it's small. And I want to tell you a short story. Back in high school, my best friend Dan and I were frustrated by something seemingly small, the vending machines. Selling sugary drinks in plastic bottles, bad for our health and for the climate and for the planet. And we thought, you know what the worst part was? These bottles didn't just disappear. No, they piled up in the playground around the school, and they ended in the forest right next to our school, our forest. And we thought, why keep fueling the problem when the solution is so simple? Give every student a reusable bottle. One student, one bottle, zero waste. Easy, right? Not for the direction. Oof. The principal laughed. If you get 500 signatures, we'll talk. So there we were, tiny, Dan and Oskar. I know now maybe it's hard to believe it. It was very tiny. Running wildly around the playground with a petition. Convinced that we could change the world. And 2 months later, we had 644 signatures in a school of 800 students. 3 months later, the vending machines were gone and every student got a reusable bottle. No more plastic waste, no more sugar, and no more excuses. And that moment taught me something crucial that I will never forget. Change doesn't start with approval. It starts with action. A few years later, I was in Colombia on an exchange program. And I was shocked by what I saw. The Amazon disappearing. Children unable to go to school because of floods. So together with a few friends, we decided that we want to organize a climate camp. A space where young people could learn, share ideas, and take action. But for that, we needed support. So we decided to ask the local council of my hometown back in Belgium for funding. So when I entered the meeting, at the age of 17, the room full of adults, they had their doubts. And honestly, I don't blame them. I was nervous. My hands were shaking. My voice was cracking, but I believed in it. And I heard them saying, what is this teenager going to tell us? Climate justice? Why should we even care? And unfortunately, we got no as an answer. They rejected the idea. And looking back at it, I understood why. Because I had built a presentation around what I found important, not what they cared about. At that moment, I learned one should always ask him or herself the question, what's in it for the other person? What are their needs? So we went back. I said, please give me one more chance. They hesitated. I said, okay, one more time. So we went back to work. We researched their priorities. We reframed our message. And we practiced again and again. And the second time, they said yes. And that climate camp became the move of a Life of Pachamama. A movement that sends each year young people to international forums to speak up for climate justice. And yet, so many of us wait. We wait for politicians to act. We wait for universities to change. We wait for someone older, braver, and smarter to go first. We wait because we feel small, because we doubt, because we're afraid of failure. But let me tell you one thing. The surest way to fail is by waiting. And what are we exactly waiting for? We don't have much time left. In Australia, wildfires burned more than 47 million acres. That's 6 times the size of Belgium in fire. Whoosh. In the Sahel region of Africa, record heat waves and droughts killed thousands of people and devastated crops. And even here in Belgium, the floods of 2021 took the life of more than 40 people. My friend Benjamin lost his best friend Rosa right before his eyes in the floods. And it shouldn't be this way, because we're the first generation to feel the impact of the climate crisis and the last generation that can stop it. And if you think that one student can't make a difference, we all know her, right? One girl, one cardboard sign, one seat outside the Swedish parliament. Her strike inspired more than 7 million people in 150 countries to march. She didn't wait for permission, she acted, and millions followed. That's the power of acting. And also let's have a look at what is normal, because what feels normal today is never permanent. Once it was normal that women couldn't vote. Once it was normal that slavery existed. They were norms at their time imposed by society, and now they're absurd. So maybe today's normal, burning fossil fuels, animal cruelty, treating the climate crisis optional, isn't normal at all. We must stop accepting the norms we inherit and start building the norms we need. And we must believe that change is possible. Because Martin Luther King, he didn't start his famous speech with, I have a nightmare. No. He said, I have a dream and the courage to act. Because society isn't built on its own. It's built by all of us. And each one of you has a role to play in making engagement normal, in giving young people ownership, in turning hope into action. Let's make that the new normal. So don't wait. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait for someone else to go first, because the world simply cannot afford your hesitation. And believe me, I know it's hard. I hesitate too. I feel fear too. The question isn't whether we have these emotions, but what we do with them. And you don't have to do it alone, don't get me wrong. Find people who care about the same things as you do. Friends, teachers, family members, neighbors. Build your team, share ideas, support each other when it gets hard, and celebrate even the smallest victories. Because change doesn't always start with a protest or with a petition. Sometimes it starts with something even way smaller. A message, a meeting, a single idea that refuses to stay quiet. So look around you, your school, your street, your university. What frustrates you? Start there. Have that meeting. Start that conversation, because courage is contagious. And every act of courage makes it easier for the next person to act too. So what if you, sitting here today, Stopped waiting for permission in your own life. How would your life look like? Start now, start today. Plant a tree, challenge the system, speak up, because every step matters and every voice counts. Because the real question isn't if you can make a difference. The real question is, how much longer will you wait? Thank you.